Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell.
Yo, be a father. If not, why bother, son? A boy can make them, but a man can raise one. Be a father to your child. Be a father to your child.
This is KGB.
What's up? It's DJ EFN.
And I'm Manny Digital. And this is the Fatherhoods Podcast.
All right, Barry White.
Ooh. Oh, that's the first intro.
Damn,
Nice.
I thought you were going to sing a melody after that.
2019 is off and running.
90s R&B.
Word, yo.
So what up, guys? Can we date it? Can we say Happy New Year?
Yo, we always do. Guys, look,
Yeah.
look. Those that listen to us, you have to understand that we try to record as many of these as we can. Like we said at the very beginning, this is our therapy. So we try to get it in every week. The release schedule is probably 2, maybe 3 weeks ahead of schedule. So when we say things, they might be a little outdated, but hey, it's the way it goes. You're parents.
Right. Just being a parent, we become outdated.
Time management is what we're working with here.
Right. Which I'm still learning. You know what? I started to think to myself as the year ended and the new year started, that I officially feel the new father fatigue. Like I really am saying to myself, whoa, that was crazy. And it's, I don't know if it's going to end anytime soon, but
Nah.
I officially was thinking that. What?
Oh, no, I was wondering how like if you noticed a difference between this being your first kind of holiday season with a kid versus previously.
Well, it wasn't the holiday that fatigued me. It's just thinking back to the year from when she was born, and even before that, the whole pregnancy and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I usually blame other things. I feel like this because of this or this because of that. Like literally, like I feel like, my health is deteriorated. I have no sleep. Gain weight, eating like crap. Like I work out, but I work out like crap more. Like I don't have the the stamina or the energy to even work out when I'm there. So I'm kind of like the class clown at my CrossFit. So, I'm trying to find something like, damn, man, this has been a tough one. But then I was like, maybe that's what everybody talks about. Like, that first, couple of years of being a parent. Maybe that's the deal that I'm going through right now.
Come on, you saw me that first year. You were like, "Damn, you okay, Kay?"
No, I remember you. I remember you, and I was like, "Yeah, damn, that's I'm starting to look like Kay or worse probably." I probably have a lot worse habits than Kay.
I didn't see Kay in those first couple of years. What was so bad?
He wouldn't have wanted to see me either if he didn't have to. We were co-managing and working together.
I was just in zombie land. I didn't. Because your lack of sleep and you're trying to figure out everything and juggle everything. And like for us, we did not have any kind of family support structure close by. So, it's all hands on deck all the time.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nuts, man.
Yeah. So I felt like a crazy man. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
And then in terms of the holidays, for me was the fact I would have probably been, not any worse or any better, because it would have been crazy just because of the scenario of having a newborn, or not a newborn, a baby. But I got sick, and I haven't been able to shake it. Like I don't want to jinx it. I think I'm on the tail end of it now, which is going on a little bit over 2 weeks now. And I've done things like travel to cold places and done drink champs and done things that have probably set me back when I was getting better. But that, and then now the baby got sick, which I want to talk to you guys about because it's the first time that we're experiencing, our child being sick. But you guys ever saw that commercial where it's like I think it's a father, it might be both parents, but I think it's the father where he's like sick, and I forget what commercial or exactly what it's about, but he like walks in and he doesn't feel like doing something, but then he has to because he has a kid. Do you know what commercial that is?
It's a pharmaceutical something or other.
It's like, bro, like you can't just like lay down. Like it doesn't matter if you're sick, the baby still needs you. That's how I've been feeling. Like I've been thinking about whatever that commercial. I'm like, damn, because I just want to like go into my bed, get into fetal position, and then I look at my girl because I'm like, damn, nobody wants to care for me, bro. Like does anybody like pat my forehead or buy me chicken soup? Like.
Yeah, when you're sick and you especially have a little one, and man, I remember when I got my wife went back to on some trip, like she was gone for when she went back to work, and he ended up getting like a double ear infection, so he was miserable, and then he gave me his cold, and then I ended up getting an ear infection, so I'm taking care of him, and then I had the fever and the ear infection, and he's all fucked up, and you just can't you just have to power through it basically, and it's rough.
But my question is, how do you power through it and then get better? Like, that's the thing. It's like there has to be some, I don't know. I mean, I'm figuring it out. I'm sure your body eventually powers through it, like you said, and just recoup. I mean, luckily I had a doctor's appointment anyway scheduled. I had to get blood results. And I showed up sick, and I'm like, and the doc checked me. He's like, you don't have fluids in your lungs. I also have sinus issues. So what happens is that when our quote unquote winter comes in, our new weather comes in, my sinuses start acting up, and then my doc says that I have like a nasal situation where he's like, basically you kind of trap your stuff up there, and if you have nasal infection, then then if a cold season, it like all bundled up and came as a perfect storm for me. And
I'd say it's all in the sleep. As much sleep as that you can get, then that's where it is.
Talking about that, and this is just me venting right now, and then my girl listens to our podcast, so I'm gonna hear shit. So besides me feeling like a baby wanting to be pampered by somebody, a nurse, I need like someone to help me out and make me feel better about life. My girl, like I snore. I'm a snorer, and when I drink, and I'm assuming when I'm sick, I snore worse. Yeah. So. And then my girl used to be all right. I mean, we haven't lived long together, but when we slept together in several occasions, and she lived with me, and for a while before the baby, and she had really not too many issues with me snoring. But ever since, I guess she has to get up also because of the baby. She's a light sleeper now, so she wakes me up every time almost every time I'm snoring. So I wake up feeling like utter shit.
Wait, time out. Does she like push you mad hard to try to knock you out of snoring?
She tries different methods. Like there's been the babe, or there's been the slowly puts her hand on my head, and she says that she tries to like not wake me up, move me type of thing.
Yeah.
She always wants me to go to my side, but I sleep best on my back.
Yeah.
But obviously I snore more on my back. And I remember like last night, man, I'm sick, so I'm trying to get the best sleep so I can recover. Because in my mind, I'm like, I need to recover so I can work, so I can feel better, so I could be a better father, better partner, everything, better provider. So I'm like, this is working. This should work for you. Like, come on, help me out. But I get it for her too. She needs to take care of the baby.
Might want to do the separate sleeping while you're sick.
Oh no, we do. Well, no. Well, when I do drink champs, I sleep on the couch. I've talked about that. I don't even try. And then she has this thing now where she kind of comes. I have a little sofa in my office. She comes to the sofa in my office. But yeah, man, she wakes me up. Last night specifically, I remember like I was having a dope dream. I was like I took NyQuil.
Nice.
And I was like, and then I feel like, hey, get on your side. And I just fucking like,
yeah, you get tight.
And then I'm awake now, and I'm not, like it's not the same. And then I wake up mad tired. Today I woke up mad tired. But then bundle it all up, and then we have now, I think it's been 2 or 3 days now, the baby got sick. And then the baby's teething.
Ooh.
And sick. She had a slight fever, which scared us, but then we gave her like baby Tylenol. It went away. And it's so sad to see her for the first time sick and having, congestion and runny nose, and her suffering with that. It's breaking our hearts, man.
Did you shed a tear?
No, but I mean, I get sad.
Yeah.
Did you take her to the doctor?
Those shed tears over it. Huh?
Did you take her to the doctor?
No, we didn't take her to the doctor. We would take her if we felt the fever persisted.
Right.
But we keep monitoring the fever, and she was at 101, which is high enough, but it's not that high. But it went down from there. It went to 98.
Yeah, from what the doctors say and you read and stuff, like especially for little kids, the 101 is that for adults it's probably more concerning, but for kids they run warmer naturally. So
Yeah, and then my girl did, did her little internet research and got like homeopathic baby stuff and like a chest rub and she got like this nasal thing to help clear the nose and it seemed, we did like a bunch of little things and it seems to be helping her. And it's just it's just sad for a first time parent to see your baby, because the baby can't express how she feels. She just looks at you with like puffy eyes and nose running, and she looks miserable. And then she's teething, and then she's crying. You're like, is it because she's sick or the teething part? And it's both. And yeah, so it's crazy, man.
Do y'all hear? You might know this, E, but have y'all heard about that onion remedy?
No. What do? You just
it's basically it's like the onion sweats is the best way to describe it. So you put you cut onions or whatever into like the strands or what have you,
right?
And then you put sugar on top of them, and then there's like a like a natural liquid that comes out of like onion juice, but it's kind of thick like a syrup almost,
right?
And that is supposed to be good for the kids when they have colds and.
How do you deliver it to them? Like, how do you?
I mean, we use do they
drink it?
Yeah. It's
body,
it's an oral like a liquid that they drink, and that supposedly does wonders. I mean, we use it all the time. I couldn't tell you for sure how well it works, but it doesn't hurt. Outside of the breath smell like onions, everything else is pretty good. So
where'd you get this concoction?
This is very old Dominican recipe.
I was about to say it has to be Dominican. You're sounding mad American, like, well, the onion, but a little Latin, like a little accent to that. Bueno, lo que pasó aquí, el onion.
I mean, I think it is Dominican because my wife's Cuban and she was like, I don't know nothing about this, but
I'm about to do Santeria to get rid of the cold. Put water under my bed.
Are you breaking up, E?
Oh, I'm moving.
Yeah. It's all good.
Itchy, man. The other thing, I actually wanted not to keep talking about myself and my sorrows because I'm here only talking about myself. But when I cough or when I clear my throat, my girl's getting mad at me because she's saying I'm gonna wake up the baby, and I'm like, fuck out of here, man! Like I'm dying and I can't clear my throat. I can't cough. Like you think I'm coughing for fucking shits and giggles? Because I do some horrendous coughs though.
Didn't we talk about this in a previous episode? Like conditioning the baby to be around noise?
Yeah, we spoke about it a little bit, yeah.
I believe in it, and when I'm with my daughter by myself, I do things normally and loud and talk around, like I'll be holding her and she'll be asleep and I'll be talking, and even recently I'll be coughing, I won't cough on her, cough to the side, but she does not wake up with me. She's used to it, but my girl's definitely worried about it. I mean, and to her defense, because she's gonna probably be the one to deal with it more if the baby wakes up, at that moment.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's just that once you start having lack of sleep, like all the things that we talk about, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna be loud and condition the kid to sleep through it.
Right.
Like we want to do that stuff, but then when you start losing sleep, then you throw that shit out the window sometimes. You're like, man, we got to make sure that the baby sleeps.
Yeah, you're right. Last night was a perfect example of that, actually, because we were trying to pretend like shit was sweet, and then the baby woke up like 3 times and ended up in our bed again. And I'm not good with elbows in my ribs. It's just not me, bro.
I'm used to it. I'm used to it. We did our first international travel with our son over the holiday, and that was a mission. It was a good mission, though. I mean, now I know he can do a long flight, and so
he's 5.
Oh, dope.
6.
6. He just turned 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Did you guys rely on like electronic devices?
Yeah. I mean, luckily the plane had the built-in entertainment system into it. So, but it's like a whole mission. So the first flight is 11 hours, and then you got to get to the airport 2 or 3 hours before that, and then we got to our one stop, and then we had a layover, and then had to rush to get to the gate, and then you got another hour some odd flight, and so it's a. But he traveled well. I mean, I was a little nervous about. I mean, he's traveled before to like back and forth to New York and stuff like that, and like a 6-hour flight, something like that. But yeah, he did all right. He did all right.
Yeah. When was the first? How old was he the first time you guys traveled? Y'all ever did the baby thing traveling?
Yeah, let's see. When he was right before he turned 1, we flew to New York.
I'm thinking of going to LA with her.
Yeah, probably like right around when he was 1, because I know we did his 1-year birthday in New York, so we were out there for maybe about a week prior to that. So I think that was his first flight. He was fine.
My son did the cross country. He was 3 months old when he first got on a flight.
Okay.
Wow.
And then we did that whole international joint too with all 3 kids and my mom. And
That's right. I remember you said that. Yeah.
We went to a few countries. It was like, for me, we I guess are lucky, or just, I don't know. My wife and I work really well together when it comes to like, all right, figuring out who's going to do what on the flights and all of that. So organizationally, it works. But what I appreciated from the flight, from the international trips, was how good a trooper my kids are. So like, it was hot as hell in Italy, and we had to walk a ton to do all the stuff that we wanted to do. And they're not accustomed to walking. They didn't grow up in a city really that you could move around like that. So I'm like, that was my biggest fear going in. And you have your occasional like, I'm tired. All right, cool. Let's take a break and get some gelato. But outside of that, like, it was straight. And that's always my concern when we travel, especially like places where you got to walk, because these kids get lazy and it's a wrap.
Yeah, that's true. But I think just overall traveling, I think it's important for me, I'd rather spend money on experiences than on stuff. And
hell yeah.
And the more places that my son can go see early on in life, I think the better it's gonna be for him. I didn't get to see much of anything, aside from bouncing around like place to place for when I was growing up, in terms of just like moving around for living and shit like that. But actually being able to go see different countries and different stuff, I think the more that I can get my son to do that, I think that'll pay off in the end for him.
I'll give you a quick example. So I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast. I was at my son's school, and he was the teacher had them write like a 3-page book, right? And it was about a place they'd visited. And he decided to use Pisa when we went to Italy as the topic. And the teacher was very impressed with all the things that he knew, not just about Pisa, but all the things he remembered from that trip. So we went to Italy, we went to Brussels, and like, he depicted so many interesting details that both fell in the historical context. It's like stuff that you might learn, in a history book, right? He was able to take that and then mesh it with like some of the real world experiences. Like, like we were at the Leaning Tower, and, down the street, souvenir shop, I, whatever, found this little trinket or what have you. Like, she was really impressed with how he was able to combine all those things and then bring it to the classroom. Because it's been a couple of years now since that happened. And that to me was like, that's one of those moments that I almost shed a tear. Because just to your same point, Kay, I would much prefer spending money on experiences, especially like that, because it does so much for the kid, like more than I can even understand at the moment. Like, it's just, they carry themselves differently since we've been back. Like, they look at things differently. You know what I mean? And it's not like we went to like an impoverished country or anything like that, but culturally you see the differences, and they picked up on that quick.
And the world is bigger for them. That's what I've always thought. I think we did talk about this before, but I feel that when kids, especially when they're in school already or in their neighborhood, their problems are in that little world, and they think that's the world. But when they travel and they see that there is a huge world out there with all different cultures and different people, then they come back, and all their little worldly problems that they thought were that one world, it's bigger than that for them. And I think they can handle things a little bit better and see the bigger picture.
You also got to take advantage of the your daughter flying for free. Before.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this is the part that I'm like worried about. Like, how did you change diapers on the plane?
They got a changing table.
They do?
In the bathroom? Yeah.
In the bathroom, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, right
I mean,
above
that little
bathroom
ass
is tight.
bathroom?
Yeah,
right
it's
above
tight,
the
but
toilet.
It'll work.
It folds down.
Oh, that might work.
But you know what else you could also do is you get those, the little changing mats.
We have the mat. Well,
Yeah. So
it's
I mean,
not,
if you need
put it
to,
on your lap or something, or on the
if you need to, or put it on the chair. When
Yeah.
you get up, and put it on the chair and knock it out quick.
Well, I don't want to stink up the whole spot if she.
Yeah, I
did
mean,
the
depending
number
on
two.
depending on what she did.
Right.
I don't think people are gonna care that much.
And
Well, I don't know about that.
right, yeah, no. And going back to her being sick, what was the ages that your kids got sick, or the youngest age that your kids got sick? Like I had a friend today. He's like, "Oh wow, that's great. My kids got sick at like 2 months, and your kid is about to be 8 months, and that's a good sign." I'm like, "Is it really?"
I think probably around probably around the 6 or 7 month mark. I think. I can't. It's a little fuzzy.
Like when I don't know what month it was, but when teething kind of started real heavy.
Yeah.
That's when like fever started, and he was more susceptible to getting colds and all that.
Defenses are lower.
Yeah.
And then imagine, I've been sick 2 weeks around her, so it's like I feel like it was inevitable. She was gonna, and then my girl's getting sick too now.
Oh, wait till she gives you some of that preschool or kindergarten goodness.
Yeah.
Back to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
That shit is damn near lethal.
Bro,
it's lethal.
Yeah,
I had never been so damn sick like that.
well, you said it. You got ear infections and shit. Something you probably never had before.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, nah,
Exactly.
it's a bad deal.
I don't want the children Ebola, man.
Yeah.
Too bad. You're gonna have to get it.
Yeah.
Just get your vegetables up.
Another thing too, that I want to bring up, and I wanted to bring it up last time, I forgot. But so my girl's been like all like paranoid, and I mean, I guess it's kind of hard because you don't want to jinx yourself that something is wrong. But she's like, oh, I'm worried that maybe she's autistic or this or that. And I'm like, no, man, she's fine. She's a baby. Because our baby like repeats herself. She goes, like, that's baby talk. I mean, is there anything weird? Like, were your kids reciting the encyclopedia by age 7 months?
No, I think it's all normal. I mean, even now, so kids basically do tics, right? They do weird shit.
Right.
Not necessarily all of them, but so my son, maybe about a year or so ago, he started doing some strange eye movement where it looked like he was like opening his eyes or rolling his eyes a lot. And all of a sudden one day it started going, he starts doing this and it looks scary. And like, what the hell? Right. He's totally normal, but he's doing this eye movement over and over again. And at first we're like, yo, you got to stop doing that. And you know what you're doing? Yeah. I'm like, why are you doing that? You got to stop doing it. And it's like, it feels good. Or, and we even mentioned it to the doc. We took it to the doctor one day because it was kind of persisting. And,
right.
And the doctor said, well, I wouldn't worry about it. Kids do these tics and they're kind of figuring out how their body works and that kind of stuff. So they do. I mean, he's still doing like that went away and we're like, oh, thank God. And then a couple months later, started doing it again. I'm like, fuck,
So you mean in older age, they still do this stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, I got an 11-year-old daughter. She still does wild, loopy shit like that.
Really?
It's completely normal. The kids like to be weird. Like it's.
Well, I mean, I don't think a baby knows that they're being weird.
No, of course.
Right.
But she's going through her like discovery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I mean, it doesn't alarm me at all.
Right.
But my girl, rightfully so. I understand. She's nervous about different things, and basically the baby just bounces up and down and like and then moves her hand like this, and and she's like ah. But I'm like, she's discovering her body, she's discovering her voice, and she can't talk, so she's just gonna keep repeating and doing the same thing over and over again. But every day she does something new, which I think is very promising.
Yeah. But the those tics, I mean, they definitely freak. I mean, even now when he still does stuff, like sometimes it's the eyes, sometimes he's doing weird stuff with his nose, or he's, picking at his finger, just doing weird shit. And it's some of it's discovery, but it also, like, especially when they get a little older, can be stress related as well. That's like changes in, whether it's like going to, they started a new school, or there's changes within the household, or there's just different things going on. Like, I guess the kids just, whatever that stress buildup or whatever is causing some kind of change can manifest in
I mean, I'm sure as adults we do weird things we don't notice, you know?
For sure. But like with the kids, it's way more evident just in terms of like the facial tics and some of the stuff that they're doing. So,
I mean, you guys are first-time parents, and you have an infant, so it's something that you guys are just gonna have to go through. And I think you're doing the right thing, E. Like, it doesn't sound like you're like, come on, stop wilding out to your girl, but you're like trying to make sense of the situation, which is the best thing that you could possibly do.
All right. So now on the line, we got my boy, my brother, my Crazy Hood brother. He's a part of my crew, Crazy Hood Productions. Paul, a.k.a. Icky Hood, a.k.a. Weird Thoughts. He's Drink Champ Sports, a.k.a. Family First, a.k.a. What else what are you?
Dream Big Hip Hop.
Dream Big Hip Hop.
A.k.a. Slap Yo Mama.
Okay. So Paul is one of my best friends. I'm godfather to 3 of his first daughters that he had. He has 5. You have 6 kids. We could safely say that, right? Because you're basically Carlos's father 6 now. So so he can
6.
talk. Yeah.
Okay. And Paul, you've been a subject topic of a conversation on past episodes. So we're glad you're on the show with us today.
Well, I gotta be honest and take this opportunity to say I appreciate y'all having me on, and definitely I've been a listener as well, because as E just mentioned, we go way back with my brother, my man K-Dog, since we first met, it's always been love. I call him what I call him, but it's all love. I know he's a ninja. And Manny Digital, since the first day we met, we was on the streets hitting it hard.
Streets?
But all jokes aside, I appreciate y'all letting me get on here and speak on fatherhood. It's something that's important to me. It's part of my life for more than half of what my age is now. I've been a father, and everything you guys have said has been awesome. Obviously I agree and I disagree, but that's part of life. Is what makes us, the world go round.
Well, wait, Paul, before you get into what you agree or disagree with, I do want to say also that in the CHP Crazy Hood crew, Paul was the first one in the immediate crew to have a kid, to have a child. And what age were you when you had Kiara?
Kiara was born on July 2nd, and I turned 21 on August 2nd.
Wow. Right. So and for us that was a big deal as a crew. We felt it felt like you were younger. 16 when you had her, man. To be honest with you, now 21 is so much older.
Her mother and I, her mother was 16 and I was 17 when we first got together.
Oh, I thought you were about
to.
Yo, son, I was.
We're about to lose all potential sponsorship.
We got together at a young age, so it's just you're young, heart.
Right. You're young at heart.
Hey, Paul. So when you had your first daughter, were you and the mom? Were you guys living together, or what was the dynamic there?
I mean, we were living in each other's parents' houses. I was with my mom and my pops, and she was with hers. She was born. We got married in January because at that time I had the common sense to say, let me try and make her, official. Let me make her honest. So we got married in January, and the baby was born in July. So we moved in to an apartment like that June, that June, July. So she was born into an apartment that we had.
Paul, you got to give the hip hop story to the day that Kiara was born, how that went down.
Well, that's classic, for me and for CHP, because, we was doing mixtapes, we was doing the parties, we were doing the shenanigans, and then we actually had a show It was like our first real show. I mean, not technically. We performed before, but this is like an actual
about our group,
club environment.
The alliance that we had. It was a group that we had.
It was the group that we had with EFN spinning. It was Hector and Drain and myself, but we was on stage and we did the whole rehearsal. We were ready to rock the show. You know, at the time, the girl's mom was pregnant and she was ready to go any moment. And then we get the call that I get the call that she's ready. She's
who were we opening up for? That was the important part. Like, who is it? It was an important show.
That was the Boot Camp Click or the Helter Skelter. I think it was Boot Camp Click. I think it was it was Smith and Wesson, if I'm not mistaken. And DJ Khaled was DJing, and Craig was DJing.
Yeah.
And EFN was DJing, and then we was performing. So we do the rehearsal. She's in the hospital. We all finding out, it's crazy. It's happening right now. The baby's born. And when the baby's born, everybody was, celebrating. We all happy. And then, here comes Thor ready to fuck shit up, right? So I have to tell her, hey, I got to do a mic check. So that's the way my family fatherhood. That's the way my fatherhood started. With
his
the baby
fatherhood
being born.
journey.
You started with a smack in the face.
So yeah, when did your wife forgive you? After how long did that take?
Well, the thing with her is, and I've been lucky with the women that I've been with. They know how much I'm about it, and they respect me for the passion of it. So at that time, her mom was upset, but she was like, she already knew.
She was a trooper kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we've been prepped her for it. She knows we was rehearsing. She knows I was out there recording, rehearsing. So when I told her, I said, today was the day we can't mess up our first show, but I'm here for the baby. So I was able to balance it by staying with her. The baby was secure. The baby was wrapped in the swaddling stage. The food was there. She was sleeping. Everybody was calm. Now, we got to do the mic check. So then we go through the mic check. I said, I promise you, I'll return immediately. So then we did the mic check, and then I returned, stayed with her the whole afternoon, the whole night. Showtime was like at 10 o'clock. I left the hospital like at 9:15, 9:20, and went straight to the club. Did the show, and then we stayed afterwards for the handshakes or whatever, and then I went back to the hospital. And that's the thing. Between me and the fatherhood and CHP, I've always been able to do CHP. And when everybody stays doing hip-hop, the way I call it, when everybody stays doing the hip-hop, I go back home, whatever time. Not every time. I ain't gonna be a liar, but I do get home. So when everybody falls asleep, I'm changing diapers. I've been out all night, so now she gets asleep, and I change diapers, and I feed the food, and I feed the baby, and I do all the father stuff. So
Paul,
my sleeping hours has been crazy. Yeah.
Paul, I got a question for you, bro. So when we had a conversation, I can't remember when, it was a few months ago, and you had taken some issues with some of the stuff that I think maybe Kay had mentioned. I want to know.
Man, fatherhood beef.
Yeah, I want to hear where you was hot.
You know what? No, I wasn't hot. But
son, you was hot. You was hot.
I remember. I'm listening to y'all, and I know each one of you on a one-on-one, so I'm listening. And I'm like, okay, I got to hear what E says. Because if anybody is a fan then of EFN being a father, there's nobody that's a bigger fan than me. I've been applauding him and I've been high-fiving him. And I'm happy that he's a father because he has seen me in the last 21 years deal with everything. And he's dealt it with me. So when he had a baby, I was happy. So anyway, my point is I'm listening to the podcast. And then I hear this most outlandish story coming from Kay, saying that he was sign language with his kids. I almost dropped my headphones. I said, "What the fuck?" I said, "Yo, I gotta say something about this. I'm about to email him or something." But I held my composure, and I respect what you did with your son. I respect what you told. What you've done. If you've done it, you've done it. I'm not in your household. But then I started to think about this, right? And I said, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At 5 months old, sign language and potty training. I said, this nigga bullshit. I said, I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Kay about this because that got to be a monumental investment, and we need to patent this. We could be millionaires if we're teaching sign language to 5-month-olds.
And his kid learned Cantonese at 6 months.
I love it. When I heard that, I said, "Oh hell no! Okay, let me jot that down. That's something I gotta holler at him when I speak to him."
Now remember, remember the 5 months is the starting point. It's not like I started at 5 months and then 2 days later he was doing everything by himself. But that's the starting point, and then as you keep going, it gets better and better.
Well, I guess the important part is when does it get better? Like when is it officially worked?
I believe you. I believe you. But my daughter, my youngest daughter is 9. Is gonna be 9, and her sign language is me by the backslapper if she fucking messes up. So I respect that.
Child Services is listening right now.
Nah, man, I'm in the system already, so I shouldn't worry me. But that shit is off the chain. No, but there's a lot of things that y'all spoken about in the podcast that I'm proud to hear, and I'm also have things to say about dealing with the music. I mean, I don't know if you guys have questions, but about dealing with how you exploit that music, if they're listening to this, if they speak on that, if they know when to not say the curse words in the songs, and all of that is dope. And I agree with it. And like E had mentioned, I love to teach my kids what I'm about and who their dad is. And it's gotten to the point where now they're older, so they enjoy it more, but now they remember how it was when they were young, and they love the culture, they love the music. So it was dope. It was dope to just speak on that point when you guys touched on that subject. That was something that I thought was really dope.
Hey, E or Manny, episode or two ago, you were talking about something that was bothering the hell out of Paul. Something that was recent with his daughter. I think it was the oldest daughter. Do you remember? Did it have something was it about the boyfriend, right?
Oh no, it was about the third youngest out of the first 3.
Yes. Okay, well, I mean,
you don't have to get into details if you don't want to, but just
no. I mean, they actually listened to the podcast. I put them on a couple of days ago, and I think they sat down and binged it like Netflix and just listened to everything. But I don't hide nothing from my kids, and that's one thing that I learned also, and I respect you guys. I know Kay's kid is young, and Manny's oldest is 13, I think, if I know correct.
Subtract 2, but we win the ballpark.
I don't hide anything, and that's something that I learned growing up in Jersey. You can't hide on whatever mask you use, even if you try to, control your temper. Shit happens, life happens, and as a family, you grow together. So I've never, ever hid anything. I'm not a hypocrite. So if I tell them don't smoke weed, but then they're listening to me on Family Podcast 1, smoking while I'm doing an interview, obviously I don't explode it, and I'm not a bad father because, you got to learn how to balance it. But with my third daughter, her name is Aliyah, it's obvious that my daughters are going to be, approached. I look at it like I'm blessed that they're beautiful. I'm blessed if they're not beautiful, but I'm blessed that my daughters are cute, right? They're pretty. So it's obvious that dudes are going to holler. I take that in consideration because I expect it. When I was their age, I was hollering at everybody. That's how life is. So when she tells me she has a boyfriend, to get to the question, I was like, no, you don't. And then she was like, no, I'm just calling to let you know, I have a boyfriend. I said, no, you don't. That's not the way you approach that's not the way you bring it to me. And then she was like, no, I know mom said you was going to get mad. No. So you guys all have a misconception of what daddy's going to blow his top off and just be a volcano. I said, that's not the way it works. Daddy has been giving you guys open communication since the day you were born. Open communication is a two-way street. I listen as much as I speak to you. So I thought our conversation level was open, where you can tell me a boy hollered at me, or I met a guy. Because I don't want to really throw it out there like, a boy hollered at me. I met a kid, he asked me for my phone number. I went through it with my first daughter. I went through it with my second daughter. I always ask, how was school today? Any boys talking to you? Any boys trying to talk to you? How's the girls? How's the teachers? I ask all the questions. So if I ask the questions, you're supposed to say, well, this is one boy that, asked real nice to me, or he says I'm pretty, or he asked me for my phone number. That's the process. So you didn't let me know that you were going through a process. You just ended up at the result and said, I got a boyfriend. No, you don't, because you never spoke to me about it. We have to go through this together. The conversation is mutual. I know you're 3,000 miles away in New York, and I'm in Miami, so it's not like I could just pull up and let me talk to everybody and let me meet this kid. But if you're going to tell me you got a boyfriend, I'm upset because you didn't tell me you met somebody. You didn't tell me you exchanged phone numbers. You didn't tell me, and I expect that. So if I tell you I love you, and I give you birthday gifts and Christmas gifts, and I give you hugs and kisses, and I give you good news, I expect everything back just the same. So then you didn't give it to me. I feel like I was robbed from that process of you growing and experiencing something new. So
are
that's the way I dealt with it.
So Paul, is your issue really more around the communication of it, or like you felt like you had a say in the situation?
Communication.
Yeah.
I gotta be real. I could tell them anything I want to tell them. They're 3,000 miles away. I have to say that now that I have this opportunity, my oldest daughter is in college. She's in Rutgers University. So when she went through middle school and she went through high school and she went through college and now she's graduating next year, the communication is open and she got it. So we speak about everything. And that goes to another one of the fatherhood episodes where you guys talk about menstrual cycles.
I was going to bring that up for Manny. You need to help Manny out, man.
Yeah, help Manny up on this one. Go on.
Man, I when I listened to that podcast, I said to myself, Manny, your wife takes the steering wheel. She's riding that car, but you have to be in it because you don't know how much good you're doing for your daughter's confidence and trust in your relationship communication by being involved. You feel me? So if you steer away from it because you're just like, oh, that's disgusting, I don't want to talk about it, that's natural because I did that too for every single one of them. But then after a couple months, I say, hey, how do you feel? Is it really achy the way they say? Is it really cramped? Did your moods really swing? So the question I can't ask the mom, the question I can't ask my wife, I mean, obviously the women we know, but as a girl, her daddy's her everything. So if you open up that consoling part of the relationship, that comforting, you nurture them when they're babies, like Eric is doing right now with his baby. He picks her up, he nurtures, he goo goo gaga and all of that. But when they're older and they're kids, you really could put your arm around them and be like, how do you feel? And that is the best thing a daughter can ever have. So you have to open up that line of communication. Is a must, and it's a blessing.
No,
get it later.
I'm definitely
or just
that
go
guy.
buy her what she needs too.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the kind of thing.
You can't say ill around her though.
Nah.
Because that'll make her more.
Yeah, nah.
I got
jokingly maybe.
Now they'd be like, Daddy, I need pads. Can you go to Target with me? I'll be like, listen, slow down.
Nah, see, I would. That's something I would do. That's not nothing for me.
No, I do it too, but I gotta say it just to jab.
Oh, to clown. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, Daddy, I need size. Listen. Write it down on a piece of paper and I'll take it with me. Don't tell me nothing.
Hey, Paul, before I forget, so you mentioned your daughter's being 3,000 miles away. So you've got the 3 girls from your ex-wife, right? And
yes.
At what age did they leave Miami and go to the East Coast?
It's been a back and forth process in terms of them moving around.
I guess the general question.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess the general question is like, how did that affect you? And just because just the thought of like not having that daily interaction with your kids, that seems like that's a tough one to deal with.
Bro, that's like losing your favorite sneakers, your wallet, and your keys for years, and you never have it back. When they moved out of Miami and they went to Pembroke Pines. I went to Pembroke Pines. I moved. I went and got an apartment in Pembroke Pines. A month after, they moved to North Carolina. Then when they was in North Carolina, they came back, but they came back to Fort Pierce. Then that's a 3-hour ride every weekend. And then from when I finally got them situated, I was able to swing them back to Miami. So within these ages, my oldest was 8. And when they went to North Carolina, she was 11. And then when they came back to Fort Pierce, she was 12. And then when they came back to Miami, she was 13. And then went to New York when she was 14. So my daughter in every middle school year and elementary, she was in a different school every single grade.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough. That's tough, you know, for everybody, you know. And I'm living in an efficiency, so it's not like I could help. So it was a hard process, you know. It was a lot to deal with. And on top of that, working because of child support. And on top of that, CHP because I didn't want to give up hip hop. You know,
Right.
he told I heard E say he don't know how the fuck I do it because it's crazy. And I took that as a compliment because it's not easy. But he knows that I will show up to the studio or to the office on Wednesdays, and while everybody's doing the thing and we wilding, I fell asleep on the couch. And there was times where he would kick the couch, or he would kick my leg and be like, "Wake up, nigga, go home." I didn't want to go home because if I go home, I'm missing out on my hip hop. I needed it, even though I was sleeping. I know I could wake up, I'm still there. But then I go home, I go to work, and so forth, so on. So the kids moving out, that was a big shot. That was a big blow that took me a while to, you know, you can't wake up every day to kids and then wake up to strangers because you're living in somebody's house in the efficiency. So that was crazy.
Yeah, when his daughters moved, it was even tough. I can imagine how tough it was for him being the father. It was tough on me as the godfather because I would pick him up every so often at school and stuff. And then when when the mother decided to leave, you know, we were all just crushed. We're like, how can this be the right decision? But ultimately, I think what he was mentioning was the moving around so much.
Yeah.
At least they've had the chance to be stabilized in New York, and all the girls are doing really well, and you know.
Yeah, I never bashed her mom. I don't bash her mom anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't bash her mom. We got divorced. We got married in '97, and we got divorced in '02. You know, so within that time period, I didn't agree with a lot of her decisions and moving, but I understood that she was trying to be the head of household. And
she went for opportunity.
Got it.
Exactly. Always looking for something better. Always looking for striving better. You know, I didn't know till they were in high school that they ate ramen noodles for 2-3 months straight every day.
Who's Raymond?
You know.
You mean ramen
noodles?
That's Ramen's brother, his older brother.
That's the cheaper brand of ramen noodles.
Spicy shrimp one.
That's the exclusive brand.
Yeah.
But I knew what they were going through. So, you know, at the end of the day, the only thing that really gave them was a strong mental, focus, because they can go into any room and adapt. They could go to anybody and meet new people, because every year they were in a new class, so they were meeting new people. So they've been able to not really be dependable on anybody. They have certain friends that are forever friends, but I always told them, as you said, you guys are sisters. You guys are your own friends. People in school are just classmates. Learn that difference. There's classmates. Your sisters are your friends forever. So they kind of like really held on to that, and they listen. So we're blessed on that part.
So once they got settled up in the East Coast in Jersey, right? Jersey?
They're in New York. They're in New York.
Okay. So once they got settled up there, how did you have like a consistent amount of times throughout the year that you would go visit, or they come visit, or how were you able to keep kind of communication and just keep that bond with them being so far away?
Telephone calls every day. I would have an entire conversation with one, and then be like, "Okay, Mama, good night, I love you. Let me talk to your sister." And then I would have the exact same conversation with two. "All right, Mama, good night, love you. Let me talk to your sister." Then I'll have the same exact conversation with three. Obviously, you switch the questions because of the age, but every day I spoke to all three of them. And I would speak to mom, and I would, I would have to reference some things to their mom. But as far as seeing them, we never did that weekend thing, because I was at the house at all times when they were in the area. But when they moved to New York, it was official. I get them summers, I get them Christmas. And then when she would fuss and say, "You got them Christmas last year, I want them Christmas this year," then I get them Thanksgiving. And then I got to get them for one or the other at the end of the year. But the summers is 100% mine. And that worked. That worked until my daughters actually started getting involved in their own little careers. And now they had to do a summer camp or not camp because
internship
of
or
education.
something. Yeah.
Exactly, that's what I mean. They started doing internships, or they started doing this, or they started being involved in some type of course for college prep. So I wouldn't get them 3 months, I'd get them 2, or then had to stay for softball practice, and then instead of getting them 2 months, I get them 1. So I'm like, I'm not mad because you guys are busy, but just know that this is daddy's time. And then I get my sisters and my brothers, and everybody wants a piece of them. And when they come even down here to Miami, even Eric be like, yo, can I take him out to dinner? And the schedule's always off because I'm greedy. I'm jealous. I'm selfish. And I want my daughters only to myself because I don't have them all year long. So, I wouldn't say this blatantly because I'm not a jerk, but if Eric's like, can I take him out to eat? I'm like, yeah, for sure. We'll set it up so we can take them out because they love eat. They love their godfather. And he would be like, what about Saturday? And then I'd be like, all right, I'll let you know. But then Saturday, something pop up and I want them. So I'm like, yo, E, let's do it next week. And the same thing with everybody. Yo, can a girl sleep over? Can a girl sleep over? And I'm like, listen, I know everybody loves you, but I'm a jealous dad, and I don't see you all year long, so I need that.
So
hey, when you
go ahead.
One last question, Manny. Yeah. So when you get them for the summertime, say, or after not seeing them for a chunk of months, and then you guys are finally face to face, is there any awkward like readjustment period happening there between either you or them?
I don't think so. I mean, from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like it.
No. Referring back to your episode with what's his name? Terminology.
Oh, Term. Yeah, Term.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He said that he goes out on tour and then he comes back, and even Manny said that when he goes out, they tend to adapt the absence, and it worked out for me where I would speak to them constantly. So if I had a conversation with them every single day, when they're flying in, the conversation just keeps going. Obviously, they're taller. Obviously, they're growing into young women. So as daddy, one of my things that worked out for me was never changing me. When they were young and we were separated, I would tell them, listen, girls, I'm not going to ever get mad at you. I'm never going to discipline you. If you act really out of hand, I'm going to smack you in the back of the head. But that goes across the line to my son and everybody. I'm not going to beat you. I'm not going to smack you. I'm not going to yell at you, because I don't see you. Mm-hmm. So I don't want our visits to be, oh, daddy was disciplined. Oh, daddy yelled at me, because I don't see you. So every visit, I was consistent. And that's another thing that you guys spoke about one time, is being consistent when you don't have them. So when they are here, they know daddy's taking them out to the dinner. They know daddy's taking them to the movies. Christy, love the girls. And it's always been consistent. So I never changed that. Now, when they act a little crazy, you're smacking them back in the head. And then I tell them, now you're making me smack you because now I have to be a father. That's something that I told Aliyah about her boyfriend. I said, I'm a cool dad, but you guys take it to where I'm so cool, you guys forget that I have to discipline you. And when I have to discipline you, now you're upset at dad, but it's okay because I'm a father. So I have to discipline you when it's accordant, when I have to. But I want you to know that I could be a cool dad too. So let's just not we can't cross that line, because then when we cross that line, daddy has to be daddy. I can't be your friend no more. So they always understood that, stay consistent with it, and it worked out.
I think one thing, Paul, real quick, I think one thing that's been really cool, and it ties a lot of this together, is that also with the consistencies part, is that his family unit is very close. I don't see any discrepancy between the siblings that aren't from the same mother. Like they all love each other the same. They come over here and you just see them all really tight, and Paul's helped to create that environment where it's just one family. It's not a separated family.
So that actually segues into kind of what I wanted to ask Paul, which is you basically got two family constructs, right? So you've got your first 3 daughters from that, your ex-wife. Then you've got 2 kids your kids,
biological,
say, right? Biological, right, from your current wife, and then I believe she has a son that she brought into the relationship. So you've got basically like 3 different things happening as far as family goes. And to your credit, like E said, and I've heard this a lot from all your friends, Like it's all like one, and like to be able to pull that shit off, like how do you do it? Because that seems really difficult.
Well, that's an easy answer. That's an easy answer. You know, the whole it takes a village is real. You know, the moms is not daddy, because daddy's cool as dad. You know, I listen to hip hop and I'm a cool as dad and I make you laugh and I cook food and you know we all go out.
Fatherhood.
It's the moms, yeah, the moms make it work. You know, their mom and the relationship with my wife, that bond is serious, and it goes back, and it goes with the father also. Like when I met, you know, my stepson's father for the first time, you know, the respect of his baby mama / my wife, you know, the respect for her, we didn't act like assholes towards each other. So the respect for me, my ex-wife and my wife don't act assholes because they know that I'm a good father and I'm trying to do something. And the same goes with my ex-wife and her man. You know, we have a distant relationship, but we have a mutual respect. So he's been with my daughters almost 14, 15 years.
Well, that one was a little bumpier though, Paul. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That wasn't smooth sailing.
No, well, you know, to touch on that, it goes with communication, because when we split up, okay, let me touch on something that might be a little risky. My daughter might be upset about this, right? When we split up, one thing that I said to myself was, I'm divorced now. I'm single. You know, I got married at 20. I'm divorced at 26. So I'm single now. So I get to do what I feel like doing. And the same goes for her as well, right? But the thing is that when she was single again and she was meeting friends and meeting dudes and dating, and her sister moved in with her for a little while and she was meeting friends, you know, dudes would come to the house to visit, quote unquote. Daddy was in his efficiency or at grandma and grandpa's house, but they never met anybody. From all the females that I came across after my divorce, my daughters never met nobody. But when I got with Christy, me and Christy hit it off so well, and I knew it was going to be forever with her. I introduced them to Christy. So
your current wife, right?
Yes, my current wife. So let's put in perspective.
For the listeners.
In the 3.5 years, yes, for the listeners, sorry, you know, baby, I love you. For the 3.5 years that we were single, the girls on mom's side, you know, they met friends. They met mom's friends. They met their aunt's friends. But for the dad's side, they only met one person, and I'm still with that one person. So they saw mom with dad, and then they saw Christy with dad. So that bond has always been solid, and they love Christy. And then I'm bringing Carlos, which is my stepson, and then Donovan's born, then Madison's born, and they're like, Daddy, stop having kids. And I'm like, nah, we need to have a bigger dinner table. You know what I'm saying? We need to do it. We feed 5, we feed 8. Fuck it. He told me he was pregnant. Have another one. Have 2 more. And everybody, you crazy. Hector had 1, have 2. Hector had 2, had 3. He had 3, have 4. He had 4, have 5. He was like, nah, fuck that. I gotta stop. So I'm like, the more the merrier, man. Let's do it.
I'm with you, bro. I'm trying to push for a 4th. I've been saying
this guy think to the Marleys over here.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny that I listened to another podcast that you guys spoke about that, and Kay was like, "We got one, and we good," and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you get a puppy, you get a little brother, whatever the case may be. But this is not to put nothing on your son. You know, I love him like if he was mine, Kay. But every single kid that I know, with no brothers, no sisters, you know, like E, like Garcia, yo, they be jerks at times, man. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's just that since they had nobody to bump into or to rub elbows with or to push each other in the backseat of the car or to snatch each other's toys and didn't have nobody to do that with, it's always just been one train track, just them. So I love when E says that he has a lot of brothers, because he does. We grew up and we did a lot of shit. But the elementary part of E, he needed a little E. He needed a little somebody to smack around. He didn't have that.
No, somebody
so
make
E, don't let your daughter grow up to be a jerk, man.
I'm gonna make that a T-shirt.
Wait, last time I spoke to E said he was gonna get it done and have a second one. He ain't do it yet.
Guy, what do you give me a second, bro?
He's getting over a cold.
Nah.
Let my soldiers come back into the fray.
You know, I listened to the Bumby episode, and he didn't even sound like a musician, like an artist. He was speaking straight like a father/grandfather.
Yeah.
And I respected that maturity in him, and I was like, this is a totally different side of Bumby that is dope. And that made me say to myself, which is also a reference to what I told Aaliyah when she had that, you know, boyfriend conversation with me, is, and I had an issue with my stepson, you know, because he's going to be 21, and we met when he was 6, you know, so I've been with him for many years. And I said, let me tell you guys something. It's easy to be a parent now because we had kids at a young age. So as you guys were growing up, we had more kids. Yes, you know, it's things that happen. So we're better parents to our younger kids because we learned from our older kids. But now that you guys are young adults and you guys are 20s and 19s and 18s and 21s, now you guys are young adults. Now we're new parents again, because now we're new parents to young adults. So we don't know how to be a parent to a young adult. We're professionals to the kids. You know, we know what to do.
Yo,
you know, what?
Can I interrupt you for a second, Paul?
You're killing them with the
you know how,
definitely.
you know how they call you weird thoughts? Yo, they haven't been that many weird thoughts in this conversation, so you're welcome.
I'm calling you deep.
It's funny
thoughts.
because when I talk about kids, you know, when I talk about being a dad, you know, my dad taught me how to be a dad, and God bless him. You know, I love him. You know, he's still alive. I didn't mean to say it like that, but, you know, I'm the youngest of 5. I have an older brother, 3 older sisters. So I've been around women. I saw my sisters have friends come over. I saw my sisters with boyfriends. I saw them crying in the room. You know, like I've seen all that. So when I had daughters, you know, I was like, I don't want them to be like my sisters or go through what my sisters went through. So when I saw my dad maybe twice a week because he had worked in the morning and he had a night job and then he had whatever. So when daddy was home, he was cooking or he was taking us to sporting events. And that shit stuck for the rest of my life. So when my kids are home, I'm cooking or I'm taking them to sporting events. And it's worked for me. Yeah. So when I speak about kids, it's something that's lifelong. Hip hop could finish tomorrow. You know, E could be mad at me one day, be like, fuck you, Paul, don't be my friend no more. And I'll be like, fuck it, we're too old, but fuck it, I don't want to be your friend either. You know, like we get to that point. But the kids ain't going nowhere. No matter how far I push them away or how far they push me away, we're not going nowhere. We're family forever and we're stuck. And that's something that I taught them also. So, you know, when I get to the young adult part, I blew everybody's mind when I said that. I said, I'm a professional parent to an elementary kid, but I don't know how to be a parent to a 21-year-old. So make it easy for me to help you be a young adult and be a mature adult. If you want to be a jerk now that you're 20 years old and you want to run the streets and come home late at night, I got to check you, dog. Not because I'm being a hypocrite, because I know I did it, but just because when I was out there doing it, there's things out there that is not fun. So help me help you be a parent. Help me help you be a young adult. And then the family can grow together and we can make it work. So, you know, I told that to Aaliyah, I told that to Carlo, and I told that to Kiara 2 years ago when she wanted to go to a camping trip in the Poconos with her boyfriend at the time and another couple. I said, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, you don't know Michael Myers is out there and shit? Halloween is real out there.
That's real adulting of you. That's the way to, hey, Michael Myers is out there. Throw the gremlins while you're at it.
Like,
hey, he's learning how to be a young adult.
My daughter hit me with the knowledge. Okay. My daughter was like, Daddy, I'm letting you know. I could have not told you and just gone. Boom. You know, she's in school. She's in Rutgers. She's in college. Gotcha. She's doing a thing. She's in a fraternity because it's a co-ed, right? So she's in her fraternity.
It's a sorority.
She just got voted vice president. No. I
now they have the co-ed fraternities.
It's a co-ed fraternity.
Yeah.
We're sorority members, and she got nominated 2 months ago as vice president of the fraternity. So it's off the chain. So now that she's doing all of that, she still calls the old man, even though I'm 43, she calls the old man and be like, Daddy, can I go? Would it be okay if I go over the weekend with my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. This is 2 years ago. And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's that open communication. I'd be like, nah, mama, help me out. Don't make me go through that right now. You're going to make me say no. I'm like, I know you can do it. I don't know if your boyfriend's visiting you while you're in the dorm in college. I don't know that, but I have to live with that. But don't make me live knowing you in the Poconos in the weekend in the fireplace. You're killing me. Don't let me do that, you know. So you know, she didn't go out of respect, and I gotta love them for that. And I gotta give more later because I took more this time. You feel me?
That's dope.
But
So we're gonna basically we need to have Paul as a reoccurring guest.
Yeah, you need to come back, Paul. We're actually gonna end it on that note right now, and we need to also get into, because one of the things, and not today, but we got to get into it, Paul. Where Paul, his other kids, how he's so involved in sports with them and coaching them, and they're great kids as well. Like, very proud of you, Paul. As your friend, I'm proud of you for your fatherhood journey, man.
Right.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Donnie and Maddie, they're young. They're 12 and 8, but they're experiencing a lot, seeing their older siblings, and they see all the stuff that we do, and they see EFN, they see Eric on TV, and they're like, oh my God, everybody goes nuts because they see E, and it's all love. I respect all that. I tell them, they know everybody's name, they know K's name, they know Manny's name, so it's funny because I involve everybody. I don't shy shit from nothing. And that's the difference.
Hey, Paul, I'm gonna make sure to look out in the mail. I'm sending you that sign language potty training book for your next kid.
Yo, you know what? I need you to
for your
send
next
that
one
to me tomorrow.
I know you're working on another one.
And I love how you guys end your podcast.
What?
Yeah.
Can we just end it?
How do we end it?
You guys never end it. It just stops. Like, all right, cool.
They're supposed to be.
So I'd be like, what the
It's
fuck?
unexpected, just like fatherhood sometimes.
Right. Basically.
Nice.
That shit is dope.
All right,
All
my
right, on
brother.
that note, hey, Kay, you know what to say.
Indeed.
We out of here.
Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell.